KMC recovers $2.4 million from the controversial staff land deal. United Nations Population Fund donates dignity kits to women victims of disaster. Residents await fulfillment of first-class roads promised from the presidency. This and more coming on Gambia 24. Hello and good evening. You're watching Gambia 24 News Bulletin with me, Mariama Cham, and thanks for joining us. The Kanifan Municipal Council has announced the recovery of additional $2.4 million from the unapproved loan transaction involvement of members of its senior management team. The council was speaking to the press after the monthly General Council meeting at its chambers on Friday. Details of that in this report by Binta Jallo.
The Cardiff Municipal Council concluded its General Council meeting for the month of August 2021, during which the recovery of $2.4 million was published. The update was centered on the fraudulent loan of land involving the Chief Executive Officer and Financial Director of the Council. As Mayor Ahmed Talib Bensouda recounts, the Council has since then been working with the bank to recover additional funds from the controversial transaction. The recovered sum of $2,400,000 from the fraudulent transaction of the $12 million loan, according to the mayor, had been returned to the account of the KMC Staffs Welfare Association. He added that the management is open to all monitoring mechanisms to ensure a transparency and best practice.
The Director of Administration and all management staff have in any event been briefed to give the inspectors all necessary assistance and cooperation to carry out their mandate. The Cardiff Municipal Council operates in a transparent, legal and ethical manner and always welcomes inspection and scrutiny from the ministry and even members of the public and the press on any matter. Inspection of local government provided for under Section 150 of the Local Government Act is an important governance tool intended to foster transparent government at the local level. The Council will do everything it can to facilitate the work of inspectors as provided for in the Local Government Act.
Mayor Bensouda spoke tough against mismanagement, noting that the people of the municipality were tired of corruption, which the council has to eradicate. Regarding the Thursday ultimatum by the Ministry of Lands and Local Government, Bensouda said the laws on issues surrounding the saga is clearly stated.
Finally, we are aware of a press release from the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Lands circulating on social media, wherein it appears he has issued an ultimatum to KMC. I believe that the laws of the land are clearly articulated and a process for handling matters of this nature are well in the Act. I trust that these processes will be followed to completion.
Kemo Bojang asserted KMC's worry over the minister's involvement and interference in the ongoing investigations.
That after the CEO and co were arrested, calls from the minister were made to release them, and even after they did fraudulent acts and admitted to it. They went to the premises of the ministry where a petition was written, which the minister said he will use to investigate the KMC, who in fact reported the crime. We have lost confidence in the ministry that with all that has happened, they are aiding and abetting people who were hell-bent on squandering millions.
The alleged perpetrators were sent on an indefinite leave. However, the Ministry of Land and Local Government has demanded the Council to rescind its decision. For iAfrica News, Binta Jallo.
Now, Office of the United Nations Population Fund in the Gambia on Friday donated dignity kits to the National Disaster Management Agency for women victims of the recent windstorm that claimed lives of at least 10 people. Half of the materials will be shared among women in the West Coast and North Bank as the hardest hit regions by the heavy downpour last month. Details of that in this report. Dignity kits contain hygiene and sanitary items as well as other items explicitly tailored to the needs of women and girls of reproductive ages. When disaster strikes, accessibility of resources as basic as keeping up to hygiene becomes one of the major challenges for the systematically disadvantaged groups. As many people were internally displaced, affected people, especially pregnant women and lactating mothers, find it difficult to access basic personal needs ranging from the sanitary items and others. It is in the respect that the UNFPA provides the shipment of 1,000 dignitary kits in response to the needs of women, most of whom had their residence destroyed in natural disasters. The country representative of UNFPA, Kunle Adinei, explains the necessity of providing such items through the disaster agency for women affected by the windstorm.
But particularly, we also know that about almost 7,000 pregnant and lactating women have been affected by this windstorm. They've lost their livelihood. They cannot get to health centers. Roads are blocked. Houses are broken. And indeed, we are now even having internally displaced people, who also consist of women amongst them. That is why, as always, UNFPA thought it important to respond and to support the government in its coordination activities and to respond to these issues. Today, we're coming with about 1,000 dignity kits. These dignity kits are one of UNFPA's major intervention points in disasters and humanitarian issues all over the world. They are multi-use, they are multi-dimensional.
Executive Director of the National Disaster Management Agency, Sana Dahaba, in welcoming the gesture, described women as vulnerable in terms of disaster.
I think what we are witnessing here, the handing over of dignity kits, this is very important. Like I keep saying, whenever disaster strikes, the government takes responsibility. But because UNFPA is a critical partner of government, this is why they have gone all this way to provide the dignity kits that goes to support the women of this country. In any disaster or emergency situation, we all know the women and children are hardly affected. And any intervention that gears to promote their dignity, I think that's very, very important.
The package are expected to benefit at least 500 women, including the elderly in the West Coast region and 500 more in the North Bank region. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Mariama Cham. And the continuous spread of coronavirus and its variants is still a cause for concern in Africa, with government compelled to install strong barriers in preventing unbearable situations. The Gambia has registered additional 113 new cases of the coronavirus, taking the total number of confirmed cases in the country to 8,500. Details of that in this report by Awande Sise.
Confirmed coronavirus infections have jumped forward in most parts of the world, and deaths from the disease in Africa have increased by 80% over the last 4 weeks. Gambia, being part of countries experiencing the third wave of the virus in Africa, is witnessing a steady increase in the number of positive cases, prompting the need for a renewed attention on the war against the virus. With the latest record of 113 cases, the total number of coronavirus cases in the African nation has added to 8,505. The 3 new deaths, according to the situational report from the Ministry of Health, brings the total death toll to 238. As of this week, 32 COVID-19 patients are thriving on the oxygen therapy. The global spread of the virus is driven largely by the Delta variant. The situation is worsened by inconsistent use of health measures and inequitable distribution of vaccines and other treatments among countries. The Delta variant of the virus has now triggered a 4th wave of the pandemic in many European countries, such as Germany and France. Gambian health officials have advised the continued respect to public health guidelines, especially in public places, in order to prevent similar cases as in Europe and America. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Desise.
In that COVID update by Awande Sise, as the Gambia records 113 new cases of the coronavirus, will take us to a quick break, and we'll be right back with the rest of the news on Gambia 24. Stay with us.
The locations, the design, the materials used, all the way down to the latest details, are few of many things that we focused on when we envisioned the airport residency. As proud innovators of community estates, the airport residency in Old Yundum, a project by Swami India International, offers unique gated community with 3 and 4 bedroom villas and duplexes. Just 5 minutes away from the Banjul International Airport. Luxury, convenience, and accessibility are some of the reasons you should consider this great housing opportunity. With a clubhouse, a playground, access roads, and parking facilities available for your dream home or a valuable investment, you will find all you need at Airport Residency here in Old Yundum.
Welcome back, and this is still Gambia 24 News. Now, during his 2021 nationwide tour, President Adama Barrow promised residents of Ibo Town the construction of first-class road earmarked from the OIC projects. According to plans, the main Ibo Town road was filled down to the riverside will have been under construction by the first quarter of the year. Residents of the area who marked the dates for this anticipation development are now doubting this attainability of the presidential pledge. Details of that in this report.
President Barrow based his promise of road infrastructure on the much talked about OIC's summit schedule for Banjul next year. With that, the disaster hotspot town will have experienced a better living condition, especially during the rainy season.
I
have one thing to tell you, the people of Ibo Town. I did not come here empty-handed. I brought something for you, the people. I will tell you people, with the road projects of the OIC, Ibo Town will have its share. In 50 years, there is only one road to Ibo Town, starting from Joko and the main road from Ibo Town to the riverside. It is part of my projects which I will be launching from March to April. By the grace of Allah, you will see machines in Ibo Town here. It has been 4 months away from the proposed date by the President when residents of Ibo Town are yet to set eyes on any indication of fulfilling the promise from the Presidency. Yahadi Chebo, one of the residents, observed that the President has been silent over the issue and that is somehow killing their hopes.
When he came here, he told us that he will help Ibo Town, but he has forgotten about us the very day he made these promises. Barrow is not coming here anymore, and as we are in the rainy season, any driver you mention Ibo Town to, they will not even look at you. Also, when it's around 4 to 5, the Gele is going to Padala will not go. Since the rainy season started, I haven't stepped outside. People don't attend your events in rainy season due to the bad road. At first we believed his promise, but his silence made us lose hope. They were all just empty promises.
Babakar Gay, one of the commercial drivers plying the road of Ibo Town, tells of the challenges confronting them due to the bad roads.
President Barrow has really betrayed us. We were hoping at the very moment he said those promises, we thought by this time we will be running on a smooth road. And right now, the rainy season is really affecting our vehicles. As you can see, how huge the garage is, only the gele that are running. The taxi drivers would have been here, and passengers wouldn't have stand here and wait for vehicle. So all of this is because of the bad roads. We are really suffering. If the president can help us, then honestly, we would be very happy.
Malik Jau, who is also known as Baifal, is of the view that a promise is just what it is, and that they are waiting on the president to deliver.
Our president is our president. He came here and promised us, and we were hoping that to happen. But still now, as you can see, our roads, when the rain starts, it's always a challenge, and the government is ours. They are the one who should come to our aid, and we the citizens should be behind them. But at least they should look back to us, because when there is an election, we would go and vote. So they should also fulfill our needs. So we are still waiting.
But Hawa Ceesay believes that Barrow should be reminded of the situation, as he had experienced the mobility challenges in the place at least once.
Parce que mo ñu promise loolu té ñoom ci gannaawam lañ nekk so daf mo wara dimbalé ñu défar ñu yoon bi.
He promised that to us, and we are behind him, so he should help us with the roads, because we suffer a lot with these roads. If it rains heavily, any taxi you pay $1,000 to bring you to Ibo Town will not take it because of the roads. The terrible road conditions are way too long, and we want him to help us with it. The president himself knows the area because he has been coming here way before he became president. So let him help us because the roads are bad.
The constituency, with over 30,000 inhabitants, has been experiencing poor road networks and bad drainage system over 2 decades. The situation is likely to persist, as their latest hope for development is at the midnight of the very political circumstances around them.
Standing right now is the exact place where President Adama Barrow made these promises to the people of Ibo Town that he would construct first-class roads to the people of Ibo Town. However, as you have heard from them, the people of Ibo Town have said that they have seen nothing made of the promises by President Adama Barrow. So, Mr. President, the people of Ibo Town have crossed their fingers, waiting whether the promises you made to them will be fulfilled or not. Reporting for iAfrica News, this is Mariama Cham. As operations clear the roads reaches the coastal road, businessmen along the Mamadi Manjang Highway have expressed commitment to do the needful on their own. The exercise aims to decongest the flow of traffic by getting rid of unwarranted goods and services along both sides of the roads within the Greater Banjul area and the West Coast region. Gambia Police Force, together with the National Road Authority and partners, began the operation in Birkama, coming down to the Kanifing municipality. Fatmata Kasim has the rest of that.
The operation has led to the removal of temporary structures in canteens and sub, as well as skilled garages along highway pavements, giving space for the regular heavy traffic to breathe a bit of fresh air. Those responsible for resources such as parked cars, construction materials, mainly of gravel and sand, had been notified to ensure their removal from the designated areas ahead of the enforcement by the joint authority. The Gambia Police justified the operation as a strike to maintain clear pathways for both vehicles and pedestrians to avoid unnecessary accidents and wastage in traveling times. Traffic jams, especially during the prime time of every weekday, is a matter of public outcry, to which this operation is expected to heal to a great degree. Musa Balde is a dealer in second-hand goods who believes that the sanitization of the traffic is achievable if the rule of the game is kept in the right hands.
I expect them to come in peace and speak nicely to us before we can remove our materials from where we place them, because it's all part of development. The footpaths that you are saying is not meant for business. I have no plans of removing my things on the roadside unless they give me a genuine reason to do so. But if not, I will not remove them.
Dam Jan is an auto mechanic who has the task of relocating and disposing garage waste, including worn-out tires, ahead of the commanding authority.
The work they are doing is very important, and this is a highway, and pedestrians use it, and these materials, to be honest, should not be here, so that the highway would be free and people can access the roads. So this, to me, is something very crucial for all of us. So before they come, I will remove them from here.
The operation began in Birkama West Coast region by the end of July, leading to a major changes such as the relocation of canteens and park along the pathways. Once the joint operation delivered its command to the concerned areas, those found wanting are expected to face legal measures on the road clearing enforcement rule. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Fatmata Kasim.
The report by our Fatmata Kasim on businessmen along the Mamadi Manjang highway set to do the needful as operations clear the roads on the run brings us to the end of Gambia 24 News. I am your presenter Mariama Cham. Thanks for watching. Do have a good night and a great weekend ahead.